Hi, welcome to Trap Souls. I'm Ryan with my boy Mark here. We're going to be talking about different types of hauntings and what they mean, because obviously there's a lot of different types of hauntings out there. Everybody thinks that just ghost. You always have your poltergeist, residual. We'll talk about all that stuff too.
This is an interesting one because this can go for hours almost. There's so many different things out there, so many different urban legends and things that people say they see, that they hear, then they watch one show or watch one movie, and next thing you know there's another type, and what's real, what's not. And
I don't think it's that. It's a lot of people have these feelings, these hauntings, seeing things out of the corner of their eyes, and since the paranormal field is so big now, they actually have names for everything. Like poltergeist. Everybody thinks poltergeist is mugs flying off the shelf, stuff, because of the movie.
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way. Alright, so we're going to talk about EMFs. And this is a big one. Everybody watched Ghost Hunters back in the day.
Right.
The first thing they did was take an EMF detector, walk around the house. It may cause people to have experiences associated with hauntings. And it is a big thing. I think there is something there. They've actually proven that high EMFs cause people to hallucinate.
Okay.
I still want to do an experience at Madison. This podcast won't go out until after Madison, so I can say what I'm going to do. So
that's fair.
In Sarah's room by the register, when you walk in the door, far left, there's a register there. That reads like 140 EMF.
The far side in the second door or just the first door?
Well, right by the bed.
Okay.
Right by the bed. We're kind of where I was sitting.
Yeah.
About 5 feet behind where I was sitting.
Okay.
I don't like staying next to that because it is very high EMF. It's an old register. We had an EMF detector up there, me and my daughter. And we're doing readings, and I'm like, oh, something's here. Closer I got to it, it spiked way up. So going into winter, that's going to be on. So I want to put someone in a chair that doesn't know about that,
right,
and see what they get. I think it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, I need someone that's not going to be flipping out over every little thing.
Right.
I haven't figured out who that's going to be yet.
Maybe use my brother who's coming in for his first time, since he has no experience at the location. Maybe we won't tell him about Sarah's Room Legends and just have him do some work in there.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. And he's never done anything like this.
No, he's never. He went to Madison one time. They did a daytime tour years ago, but it was before they started restoring the building to what it is.
Okay, so yeah, we can put him back there, put him in a chair, sit him back there.
Yeah.
And there'll be a few of us doing a little investigation, but we'll see how he reacts to the high EMF there. That was the one room where Connor, Carrie's boy, heard that growl.
Okay.
And that's like the only thing I've ever got.
Is that from the closet area?
No.
Okay.
He actually got that growl right next to Sarah's offering dresser.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was pretty impressive growl. And the weird thing about that growl, I was standing by the mirrors on the other side. I heard the growl. Everybody heard the growl in that room. Nothing on recording.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was. You might be able to hear it's very light on the recording, but it was pretty impressive when it happened, and he actually felt it go by his ear. So that was his first experience. That was his first investigation, and I'm glad he got to experience that because it was.
Well, maybe it'll get him more into it down the road too. So you might have another investigator.
Yeah, if he wasn't in college, he'd probably definitely be with us.
I think the electromagnetic fields are interesting, but those are the hardest ones because, like you just mentioned with the register, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you'll see it on the shows, they go through and everything is reading off the charts. Well, it could be anything from electrical wires in the wall to, like he mentioned, a heating duct. There's so many different explanations, and if you don't debunk it while you're doing it, it really doesn't show that you're reputable.
Yeah. That's the one thing, heating duct goes on and off. So people could be by a heating duct and there's nothing.
Right.
Then it goes off. We're not talking heating ducts, we're talking registers. old school registers and like old schools.
Right.
Then it goes off and you're like, oh my God. But you gotta be able to hear that go off. Same with fans will give high EMF. A lot of older houses will have a lot of high EMF because the wiring is not insulated as much. And that's why a lot of people, when they do like private investigations, they want the electricity off in the house. It's just better to hit the breaker.
Is that a big reason you're wanting to go to Madison in the winter? There's a little less electricity because they use a lot less heat?
No, I think when we went there beginning of the year, we had a lot of activity. I don't know if it's because of the cold. So I want to go find out. I mean, it's going to be cold. Like real cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be cold.
But it'll be fun. So that's EMF. Obviously, a lot of people use different detectors for EMF. The way to find ghosts. I mean, we have the REM pod up there, which uses EMF. Get close to it, it goes off. If there's any spirits in this room, go ahead and hit that. So, that's not a spirit. That's just Mark.
I'm as white as a spirit.
So, if there's anything in this room, hit that. So we're going to infrared sound, which this I kind of saw this on a couple of shows this year that they're trying to use infrared sound to create, especially portals and mirrors, because it breaks down the fiber or whatever the mirror, which can create a portal. I don't know if I believe in it.
That's new to me. I really didn't. You see in the movies, stay away from the mirrors. Things look back at you. Your reflection always looks back at you. But it was the first time going to Madison with you guys that you guys were like, hey, you're going to notice all the mirrors in the building are covered by sheets and so forth. Don't look in the mirrors. It's a dimension thing. Never been big into that, but I also, because you said that, I make sure not to look in any mirrors.
But I think it's like when you have a button and a kid and you say, do not touch this button, what's a kid going to do?
Yeah.
So if I see a mirror covered, what do you think I'm doing?
Right.
I'm uncovering that mirror. I mean, might as well find out.
You're a mirror uncoverer?
I'm a mirror uncoverer.
Ryan runs towards things and uncovers things.
But it's kind of weird because like you go in these places and they have 25 mirrors, but only like 5 are covered. Those are supposed to be the bad ones.
Right.
I'm uncovering them. So we'll see if anything comes through there. So low frequency sounds like infrasound can cause people to experience unusual feelings like anxiety or a feeling of being watched. So some of these groups, some of the groups are using a low frequency trying to cause hauntings or ghosts to come out. They're actually just creating their own anxiety. So it's not really calling a spirit, it's just creating their own mind fuck, I guess you want to call it. I don't know what you call it. So a big one that everybody talks about, sleep paralysis. Nailed it.
Yeah, you did.
Nailed it.
First time.
That
wasn't even edited.
Sleep paralysis can cause people to hallucinate ghosts. And we were talking this before we started this podcast. Does sleep paralysis make you believe you see ghosts, or do ghosts cause sleep paralysis? I don't know. I think it's the first one.
Yeah, interesting thought, right? I mean, I think anybody that is listening to this or watching this would probably 50% or more would say that they've seen something and they've ran into the sleep paralysis. I believe that at one time I saw something, but I can't prove it. I don't have any evidence to it. You know, I woke up, thought I saw somebody at the end of the stairs, and then I jumped up as soon as I could unlock my body, turned the lights on in the house, and there was nothing there, right? Was it a dream? And I just woke up at that moment, jumped up, grabbed the light. I don't know. So I won't say that it's actually happened to me, but I think anybody's been in that kind of situation.
I think I never have, but
okay.
I think the people that have had sleep paralysis will always say it's a ghost. Not always, like you didn't, but majority, 99% will say, no, it's a ghost. People like me who never had it will be like, no, sleep paralysis made you think you saw a ghost. So the definition is a temporary inability to move or speak that happens when you are falling asleep or waking up. Sidewand was telling me a story when he was younger. And I guess it usually happens in your 20s, 30s. He was laying there, couldn't move, couldn't do anything. Got touched, got pulled, saw something, was trying to speak to it, couldn't speak, nothing. And he swears to this day that it was a demon.
Wow. And he's a really religious man.
Yeah.
I think most people say too when they talk about the sleep paralysis is that they'll wake up, they're sleeping, looking straight up, and then there's something just hovering above the bed, right above their face. I would say that you see it in movies, you see it in shows. That's what everybody says is those scenarios. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe there's something mind to it because there has to be different scenarios, but that's 99% of the time. That's what you see in the shows and hear on the movies and stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, they say they can't move, they can't speak. A lot of people feel like they're being held down.
Right.
I mean, your mind is powerful. You can create that yourself. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll have one tonight.
Maybe
since I'm talking about it. I'll have some sleep paralysis. I really don't sleep though, so. Alright. So we go to stone tape theory.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it till I looked it up. Don't believe in it. It claims that ghosts and hauntings occur when rocks and other items release historical information.
I mean, that's not like Stonehenge type stuff, is it? I don't really know. The only thing I can think of is maybe this goes to the Native American stuff because they always stack stones above grave points.
Or maybe like Civil War battlefield.
Yeah, could be.
You know, it suggests that ghosts are actually recordings of past events that are somehow stored in inanimate objects. Theory is that when certain conditions are met, recordings can be played back. So maybe that this kind of goes into residual, kind of, I think, connects the residual hauntings the same way. Maybe, someone died on the battlefield. Maybe that story's stuck into that. Their memory of it is stuck into that object.
A stone.
It's there, right? I don't know. I don't believe in it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to think like that, I mean, are you going to walk past a boulder and there's going to be a T-Rex versus Triceratops battle that just breaks out because of memory and stones?
Okay, question. How come we don't see any ghost dinosaurs?
That's what I'm saying. Are they stuck into stones?
They might be deep in that stone. I don't know.
This is a sensitive subject.
It is very. Not on a YouTube video. Alright, so no, I really don't believe in that. I don't believe stuff is stuck. Now, if you get into like Wiccans, witches, they're all nature, so maybe they believe in this stuff. I don't know. If you're a witch, I need you to come on the show. I'm on the top some witch stuff. Crystals. I don't believe in that either.
But he has merch for you.
I do have merch. Alright, so placed memory theory. Never heard of this either.
Yeah.
Which, traumatic or meaningful experiences can become connected to a space.
I've never heard of that saying before, but I think that's with any thought of a haunted house, right? Yeah. I mean, they connect to the house.
Yeah. There's people connected to the house. There's people connected to objects. So, yeah, I guess it, like you said, most hauntings. And we talked about that my last podcast. So I have a little issue because we're at Ross' house and we're talking about the coal miners and other stuff that's around. Why are they at the Ross house?
Right.
So what makes something, and this is repetitive from last podcast, sorry, but Reed wasn't here. What makes something that happened 2 miles away that's not even connected to this house come to this house? And you see it all the time in shows. When they can't find anything connected to that house, they're like, oh, there was a murder 7 miles away. Like, great, there's murders everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and my theory about it was, after thinking about it, was people are investigating this house. They're not investigating anybody else's house. Maybe they come here to get their story out. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think you could make a whole nother podcast on just this subject. But if you think about it like that, okay, I just went to Gettysburg 2 weeks ago, and I went on a ghost haunted tour through downtown.
Should have recorded it.
And we went past a bunch of houses. A lot of the houses had a lot of the bullet holes and, impact locations from the artillery in the buildings. But as you're walking past these houses, you're hearing these stories, and it's compelling, right? But if you think about it, you're walking past a house, and then, you're looking in these houses, and people live in them. Mm-hmm. And you got, like, John Johnson sitting in the house next to the 8th most haunted house in the world, and you're sitting there watching ESPN in his living room. Is there nothing haunted going on in John Johnson's house in the middle of the 8th most haunted house in the world, in this house that's been blown up by artillery? So, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we're investigating some of these houses because they're known to be haunted. Like the Ross house is one, but there's got to be houses in between that have just the same thing. But can people not move out of those houses because that's all they can afford to live in because they've been there, family scenarios, whatever? Or are they just not haunted?
I mean, if the person died in the house that's haunted, maybe they're just stuck in that house. They're just connected to that house. Like the coal miners, I mean, yes, they died in the mine, but maybe they want to get their story out, so they go to another house. Maybe those other houses, they might have spirits in there, but no one's asking questions. Maybe they go to where someone is asking questions. I don't know. I mean, I ask a lot of questions while I'm on investigations, but...
So I don't know if it was on any of the podcasts you've already recorded that I haven't heard yet, but you were going to look into what was going on when Tegan was doing her experiment, and then we heard the 8 and the 9.
Yeah.
Did you do anything more with that?
Yeah, it's on the podcast.
Okay, I'll have to look back and see that.
Yeah, we haven't released that one yet.
Okay.
That's
well, then
next
I won't be able to see that.
That's next week. This
Okay.
podcast. It will be released.
Okay. But that was interesting because after we went to Ross, so when we went to Ross House, like Ryan said a couple times, we try to go in these places we've never been to blind.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I sat at home and I watched 2, 3, 4 different investigators go into the Ross House to kind of see if anything made sense for us. And a lot of the things that they were talking about, we really didn't pick up on. One thing, though, was there was discussion on like the 8 and 9 numbers on a couple different investigative groups, which was very interesting because that was the only thing that we kind of went, there was something in that little piece that she was doing that made sense, and it was something you were going to dig into further.
Yeah, there's some interesting facts. I mean, you guys will hear it on when the Ross House, it's going to be called Ross House Silent Night. That's the title.
Because of Christmas.
Well, Christmas plus it was silent.
So I see what you did there.
Goal, huh?
I like that. Okay.
I get bored at work. I think of stupid stuff. But listen to that one. Obviously, I didn't put Tegan's Estes on there because it's long. But you can go on Facebook, watch that video. So follow us on Facebook, Trap Souls, if you want to, Nuclear Soul Seekers. And definitely go on YouTube, Trap Souls. Subscribe. Doing a lot more videos, a lot more podcasts, obviously, on videos. And there'll be some good stuff on there. Definitely check out the Ross House. It's a good place to go to. Keep promoting that. Ross House, Bel Air House, every place we've gone to has been worth going to. So we're going to get into types of hauntings. The infamous shadow people.
The shadow people.
I saw one at Ross House.
You did? Downstairs?
Downstairs in the basement.
I saw that on your solo. You said you saw something.
Yeah, of course I had a camera on my big ass face. But, that's the way it goes.
I want to tell you, though, your solo, very Blair Witch Project feel to it. Small Black Bear meets Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't scared of the shadow. Like I said, Peter Pan was looking for a shadow for 20 years. I found it. That's why it didn't scare me.
Boy, Peter Pan, that's one you could do a ghost show on, too.
Yeah.
With the conspiracies on that. Anyways.
Okay, so shadow people.
Shadow people.
It's usually seen out of the corner of your eye. Rare to see them in full. Like to hide around corners and keep their distance. Some believe they're non-human and aren't from this world. I have a hard time with this one. Now, do I think there's shadow people out there? Yes. Do I think the stuff you see out of your corner of your eye is a shadow person? No. A lot of people see a lot of stuff out of the corner of their eye. That ghost does not know you're looking straight forward. Like, are they sitting there like a deer trying to cross the road? Okay, go now.
Right.
Now, I have seen shadows. We've seen them at Bel Air House. Seen them at, Ross House. Definitely saw them at Trans Allegheny because that was a full shadow, gray shadow. But the stuff you see out of your corner eyes, I don't know, I have a hard time believing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe there's shadow people. I don't believe there's shadow people.
No.
I think that people see shadows.
Yeah.
I believe people that you can't identify. I know Madison, when we were up in the attic, we all hung out for a few 20 minutes or so waiting to see something, and at one point Bird and a couple others said they thought they saw a shadow across the wall. But Madison's hard. I mean, anytime you think you see a shadow person, I think you really have to try to disprove it. Because that could be someone else doing an investigation on another floor. A lot of old vents are just vents themselves, no ductwork. So a light could flash through there, hit a wall, or it could be a car driving by from whatever distance. The moon hits right, a bird flies by the moon right.
Yeah.
You got a shadow. They're super hard to prove. I think your Trans Allegheny maybe was probably, I didn't see the footage or anything, but probably pretty legit because it's more of a dark location with less lighting. But I think people make the shadow people more than they are. I really don't think there's as many shadow people as they investigate.
I think that goes everything for all evidence of the paranormal. I think majority of evidence is something else.
Yeah.
I think there are stuff out there, obviously, because that's why I do it. But I do think the majority is play.
Yeah.
I mean, nature play, whatever you want. Like you said, it could be a branch from a street light.
Yeah.
That just the wind moves and it moves. So,
yeah.
Again, shadow people, they're not just I think there are spirits that are moving. And all you do is see their shadow.
Right.
You don't see the whole thing. Like the one in Trans Allegheny was gray. That wasn't a shadow. I guess you call it a shadow person. But that damn thing looked at me and just kept walking. It was only like 20 feet away from me.
That's the biggest thing I'll say just in this podcast, the video, is if you think you see something, Ryan said this, every video that I've talked with him in, any podcast I've talked to him in beforehand, go towards it and figure it out. Don't just say, I saw this is what it was. Try to debunk it. Because if you don't try to debunk it, how do you prove it? And how do you expect people to believe it? Like, all of you listening right now, you could be thinking, you guys are so full of shit.
Yeah.
If we were just sitting in here saying, I saw 7 shadow people at this house, and they ducked their heads back in the room, and then we just left, and we were so scared. And well, no, go in there and figure it out. Yeah. Was there a truck or a car that stopped in the road, flashed its lights, beeped its horn, whatever the case is? Figure it out. Just figure it out.
Yeah, you always go toward it. I mean, Bel Air House, if you want to see shadow people, go to Bel Air House. They're all over the freaking place. There's shadows ever in that house. And they're like body shadows. They're not just out of the corner of your eye. So go to Bel Air. It's a pretty cool place if you want to check out some shadow people. Especially on the porch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just for the record, Bel Air House and Ross are 2 different locations within the city of Bel Air.
Yeah.
So they are 2 different locations.
We will be going back to both. One of the biggest ones, Poltergeist.
Classic movie.
Classic movie. Great movie. Second one, not so much.
Nah. Could have done better.
Could have done better. First one's always better. It means noisy ghost. Everybody thinks that poltergeist is mugs flying off the wall, objects moving, plates flying in the air, I don't know, cupboards slamming. It's given the name due to the fact that it can interact with the environment and move and throw things. It's mostly negative, which is awesome, and try to harm and scare people, which I like too. Not the harm part. Or whatever. It happens. Scare people, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, the poltergeist, I 100% believe in, right? Yeah. I mean, you have to. I mean, they make a lot of movies about them. That's pretty much what every ghost movie turns into, is it's a poltergeist. I mean, but that kind of goes back to your first point of EMF detectors, or did I say that right?
Yeah.
I always butcher that. But is it just more electricity running through the house? You're getting more activity? Is it, I mean, what?
I don't know what creates. I mean, it has to be a pretty strong entity to be able to throw stuff.
But they say that stuff's built off of electricity, or it's built off of fear kind of thing. So there's got to be something giving it that power. If it's not a demon, right? Because demon's a completely different subject.
Demons don't have to use the environment.
Right. So there's got to be, if it's a poltergeist, there's got to be something basing its power.
I think it's just like regular, like humans. You got strong humans and not so strong humans. So, like when we talk to a lot of spirits, they always say it takes a lot of energy from them to talk into the EMF or move the cat ball. But you have an entity that can slam a cupboard, open a door, throw something across the room. That's a pretty strong entity. I mean, I'm going to assume that there's, just like humans, strong entities and not as strong. Maybe they're not as strong, just haven't figured it out yet. Or, I don't know. I don't know what makes them strong, what makes them not. I mean, I do have a piece of equipment that puts EMF in the air and try to create a stronger entity. Give them some juice.
Do you feel like doing something like that? I know we talk about, we don't do the Ouija boards, we don't do, things that would call things, opening portals and so forth. But if you're doing something like that, do you feel like it's opening a door to make something more powerful that maybe it's not able to hurt somebody because it's not, and then Ryan's like, hey, here's some steroids, ghost, let's go at it, you know what I mean?
Man, I want to fight, let's fight. No, I don't know, because you might have someone that's just not strong enough to talk or communicate that wants to. Maybe it could give them that energy too. Again, like you said, maybe it's already strong and I'm giving it more, and then we gotta fight. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it with Sarah.
Sarah's probably the one.
Yeah.
I knew she was a Scorpio. I called that. Ryan went on this kick the other day where he was trying to guess everybody's signs. Interesting. Very interesting.
I don't believe in signs.
You know what's funny is Sarah is, from the videos and stuff, she is the most scared, jumpy person in the group. But Sarah is also the first one that I know would actually, in quote, throw hands with the ghost or spirit. So it's so interesting, her dynamic.
I think if you push Sarah into a corner, she's going to fight.
Well, no one put Sarah in a corner.
No one put Sarah in a corner.
Oh.
So any ghosts in Madison listening, put Sarah in a corner. All right, so we'll keep going. Funnel ghost.
There's a lot of different types of ghosts and spirits, huh?
Yeah, they make a whole bunch of stuff here. It's known as a vortex ghost.
Okay.
If a family member or friends visit you inside your home, it's considered a funnel ghost. It's not usually seen but felt. So we're talking about this before the podcast. You said something about, what were you talking about?
We talked about a lot of things before the podcast, which we should have been rolling so you could start piecing things out of those. Together. I don't know. I mean, maybe you could think about it while I'm talking real quick, but that's interesting to me. All right. I'm a nice guy. I can be sensitive at times, so don't take this the wrong way, world, but I want to believe that my grandfather that's dead or my grandmother visits me, right?
Yeah.
But I also know, on the other hand, 99.999% of the time, it is never going to be my family member that's visiting me. You want to believe that a butterfly goes by and that was a sign of your mother. She loved butterflies, so you will automatically go, that was my mother. Well, no, 99.9% of the time it wasn't your mother, but I get it. You want that hormone in your mind to think it was, but I personally don't believe that. The only way I'm going to believe if my grandfather was coming to see me, if you wanted to go into dreams, I mean, I think they possibly come to you in dreams, or maybe you're just pulling that memory to create a dream. But unless my grandfather's drinking a cup of coffee, smoking a Marlboro in the kitchen when I wake up, I'm not going to believe in the funnel ghosts.
I mean, a lot of people do feel. That's why it says usually not seen but felt. And I talked about this in another podcast. Like, you always want to believe that someone's watching out for you. When I do something stupid, I can hear my mom and her voice saying, "Don't be an idiot," stuff like that.
Right.
Like, what your mom would say, or your grandfather would say at that time. So, yeah, we all want to believe that. Is it true? I don't know.
Now, to touch on what you just said, do you ever feel that your mother is around in spirit?
I always feel like my mother, my grandfather, my godfather are always watching over me.
Okay.
I always feel that. Like when I won't say, I don't want to use the word pray, but when I'm looking for answers, I usually talk to my grandfather.
Okay.
Is he talking to me? Probably not. I hope it's him. But like you said, memories, know what he would say. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm having a rough time. Can you help me through this? He'll be like, pull your head out of your ass.
Yeah, right.
Get your shit together. And, all right, we're good. Feel good now.
Yeah.
Drink some liquid courage and let's go on.
That's right. And I want to ask you that because, I mean, those of you that know Ryan, he's a tough guy. He doesn't talk about feelings almost ever. And he runs towards everything. He's not a back down kind of guy. So I wanted to get a feel for what you had to say on that because you're not an emotional fella.
I'm emotional sometimes. Usually when I'm by myself, though.
Okay.
I mean, like, you always hear that song that your mom always plays.
Right.
It hits you in the wrong way. Like,
yeah,
it's rough sometimes. I still miss my mom. It's been years. But like I said, I still have my dad around. You take every opportunity to spend as much time as you can with him. So
let that be a lesson in itself in this video and podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I always say when people pass away, everybody always feels sorry for a person passing away. It's the living that you should feel sorry for. Like, they're going to keep watching out for you from above. You're the one that's going to miss them. They're not going to miss you because they're still watching you. That's what I believe. Like, if I pass away, hopefully from years from now, I'm going to still watch over my kids, make sure they're doing it right, give them a little kick in the ass when they need it. That's how I feel. So
I respect it. And I hope that talking about the funnel ghost the way I did, I hope that didn't...
No, it's all good.
It was okay.
All right, normally cold spots or getting a warm feeling like you're being cuddled.
Well,
I don't cuddle.
But he has so much emotion, folks. No, I've never felt that I've had a warm spot where I'm being cuddled. I mean, Bird would have something smart to say on that one. Yeah. But I think the cold spots is a real thing. I mean, I think everybody's gone somewhere and they get a weird chill and it's not cold right before it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was writing this down, I'm like, no, they're cold spots. Or you're cuddled, really? I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
I've
never seen it on a show, movie, or heard anybody say it before.
Like a teddy bear cuddling you. I don't know.
Maybe that kind of goes with the funnel ghost thing where you think it's a family member maybe and you're feeling more warm and cozy because you feel it's protecting you maybe.
Yeah, it might be like a little warm in your heart. I don't have a heart, so it doesn't matter. Funneling or spiraling vortex shapes, which can be seen in photographs. Now, I have one from Trans-Allegheny. I'll try to find it. I'll post it on this podcast. Where I was taking pictures. It was dark out. And a flash was going off down the hallway. Then I hit a flash and this mist, looked like a mist came out of this room. Then I was like, damn, that's a mist. I took 2 more shots real quick and it looks like, almost like a funnel. Gray shadow going. Whoa.
We won't edit that.
Like a gray shadow going down, like a vortex type. I mean, that's what it looks like. I'll try to find it. Yeah,
I've never seen anything. I mean, you always see it in the shows and the movies where, like, a mist will come by a door if you're doing an investigation or something, and I saw something, it's a ghost, but I don't know. I mean, my thought, right? It could be smoke. It could be a change in temperature. So you might be getting some kind of mist or fog coming through there. I don't know. That's a weird one for me. I guess I've never seen it, so maybe my first experience.
That's the first and only time I've seen it. I mean, it actually came out of the room, and I saw it in the flash. That took 2 more pictures, and it was like 20 feet away from us. Looked like it's going down the hallway, but I actually saw it with my own eyes, and I wish I would have caught it coming out of the room because it looked more misty. But going down the hall, you can see it. But
did you go to where it was at to try to see if there was any environmental?
Yeah, there was no environmental.
Okay,
that was pretty neat. Again, cool experience.
Yeah,
and we'll leave it at that. All right, this is what I do believe in: residual hauntings.
Yeah,
I think I was a big believer that majority of hauntings are residual. But doing this and getting a lot of EVPs, a lot of questions answered, it's like 50-50, I think. We'll go over definition. Trapped in a loop. Unaware of what is happening now. Unable to interact with us. Its memories or echoes are trapped in an environment and carry on replaying. So when I say that, what do you think of?
What do I think of with that?
Well, they're not going to answer me. It's on video.
Oh, you guys can't respond. I don't know. I mean, I think that's almost besides the poltergeist. I think that's what everybody thinks of. Even incorporating the poltergeist, you think it's, you lived in the biggest example I would say is what you see in movies where a husband kills a wife, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you see it all the time in these movies. So then somebody moves in the house and there's an angry male spirit here and he hates women and he's violent towards women. Well, then later down in the movie you find out that he killed his wife and she tries to protect the new homeowners and stuff like that. But then the next person moves in. They run in the same scenario and it's a continuous loop because they're just playing out what happened in real life. That's how I see it.
See, I don't see it like that. What you're talking about is like a jackass spirit and the wife trying to protect the people. Right? If it was residual, all you will see is that murder over and over and over. Him killing her.
So you're just seeing that one episode of a moment.
So it's kind of like you're just playing old school VCR and rewinding. Old school VCR rewinding. What I think about is the battlefield, like Gettysburg. People always see like ghosts coming out of the woods, the soldiers, or the, soldier marching. I think that's more of residual. So if you do have hauntings in your house, the one thing I would say is write down. Like if you saw a woman walking down your hallway one night, I mean obviously that's freaky. White gown walking down your hallway. Write down what time, what day. It could be happening, like maybe she did that every night at that time, going to get her cup of tea or whatever. Or it could be just once a year. So write down the time, day, keep it. You see it again, write down time and day. It's probably going to match up, especially if this ghost is not interacting with you. It's just walking down the hallway. And, you see the movies walk right through you, whatever.
Right.
And doesn't notice you. That's a residual haunting. They don't interact with us. Now, I was talking to Ed about this, Sidewan, because they're a believer in Hutch, religious, believer in angels and demons, and that's it.
Right.
So I'm like, what about like Gettysburg? Soldiers on the battlefield. I believe their spirits have moved on, but that's just some energy left over replaying the battlefield. Like they don't know what's going on. Like they're not even there. It's just a constant replay of what actually happened. And I think that's what people see. Like people want to go ask questions. You're not going to get answers. You'll never get answers from a residual haunting because they don't even know you're there. Is it possible that residual haunting is somebody, a spirit, that still believes that they're alive and just living out day and day and don't even notice we're here?
So you think residual haunting, with like the Gettysburg example,
Like I said, echo.
you don't think that they're really there, their spirit's gone, but there's still energy left there that's replaying the scenarios, but it's not really their spirit still there.
Right.
Interesting.
I guess that echoes trapped in the environment, just carrying on replaying. I mean,
well, that kind of goes back to what we were making fun of the rocks about earlier. Maybe things are stuck in the rocks, the energy. Maybe things are stuck in the battlefield.
yeah.
Interesting. Because now we're kind of coming back to maybe it makes sense a little bit.
No, I don't think anything's stuck.
No,
in
you don't
rocks.
like the rocks.
No. It's just stupid. I mean, why would you get stuck in a rock?
It's the worst place to get stuck.
Yeah. Stuck.
One of the worst places to get stuck.
I mean, maybe that's where it came, stuck in a rock or a hard place.
You don't want to be stuck in either.
No. Rather be a hard place than a rock.
But I like...
Some kids will pick me up and skip me across a lake.
then you'll be hanging out
drown.
with the fish.
I'll be drowned ghost.
But I like the residual hauntings. I think you're right. I think that's the majority of them. What made you go from thinking that's the majority, almost all of them, to 50%? Just the more research you've done?
Well, just the interaction we've had during our investigations. Like, we ask questions, we get answers, like, especially with the Estes method.
Right.
My EVPs, with Sarah's solo.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, Sarah. That was not a solo.
Duo.
I don't care what you say. All right. Animal ghost. Do you believe in animal ghost?
Do I?
Yeah.
No.
I don't either.
Because I've never seen something animal-wise that could be
I have to go back.
a
Yes,
ghost.
I do.
Stop.
You weren't at Bel Air House.
Oh, okay. Are you going to talk about a goddamn cat?
That fucking cat.
I swear, if I hear Aaron say cat one more time.
I don't know if that's a cat that hit her, but it's a cat that scratched Tegan.
But okay.
I had a picture.
A cat scratched Tegan, okay? Don't demons and spirits scratch people? Isn't that a known thing when they get aggressive? Why is it a cat?
Because I have a picture of the damn cat above Tegan.
Okay, well, in that case, that makes sense. Okay.
You didn't see the picture.
I did not.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to see, but so my daughter walked through a doorway, nothing around her, got scratched. Whatever, it happens. Not to me, but it does happen. Then she's like, I want to recreate it. So she walked through again, and I was just taking pictures. So we took a whole bunch of pictures, went upstairs to the, safe space, the seance room in Bel Air. That's our safe space in Bel Air.
Sounds like a safe space.
It is. I feel pretty comfortable there. I get that warm feeling like I'm getting cuddled up in a seance room.
Exactly.
So I'm sitting there just checking out the pictures. I see something above Tegan's shoulder. I'm like, it just looks different. So I zoom in a little bit. I'm like, damn, what is that? So Shadow wanted to sit next to me. I'm like, Shadow, what is that?
Shadow's a person.
Shadow man. So he's like, if that's a go ahead, I'm out of here.
Oh yeah, that'd be creepy.
Yeah, it'd be kind of awesome, but creepy.
Creepy as hell.
So I zoomed in very little, and he's like, that, like his eyes got this big, and I'm like, what? I'm like, holy shit. He's like, I'm like, don't say anything. So everybody comes over, runs, and Nikki's like, that's that fucking cat. She was petting a cat outside, an orange kitten. It looked exactly the same. So we went back down, and I ran down back in the basement. I'm like, maybe there's a window there. No, plywood over the windows. Maybe it was in a heating duct, like up here. No, nothing. And there's an orange cat sitting on my daughter's shoulder like this.
And it was an actual real live cat outside that she was petting earlier.
Yeah.
Like you guys saw it. There was a real cat.
Yeah.
But it was the same cat that scratched her.
It was a goat cat that scratched her.
Which is maybe the real cat's offspring.
That might be demonic. I don't know.
It's interesting. I'll have to see the pictures. I don't want to make light of it because obviously she did get scratched. But
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, she had 3 scratches straight down, all same spaces apart. It's pretty cool. I mean, I don't think there's anything demonic in Bel Air, but if I had to say, if there's one place we ever investigated that could be demonic, it'd be Bel Air. Definitely.
you said there was a lot of portal play.
Yeah, there's supposedly a lot of portal play. I don't believe in ley lines and all that stuff. A lot of people do. Sorry, Aaron. I don't believe in that. So
I don't know enough about it.
All right.
But anyways, ghost animals, I've never seen anything. So
that's the only one. A lot of people say, like, cats, dogs will come back, and when you're feeling down, you'll feel them rubbing on your leg, and yeah, whatever. That shit ain't happening. It might be. Never happened to me.
Would you say that's a sensitive subject?
I believe it might be sensitive to some people. Again, probably one of those things that maybe like their dog, or cat rubbed on them when they were sitting, on the couch. And just like what we feel about, my mom and my dad, comfort, maybe that's how they feel. Maybe they just need comfort and they remember that and they actually think it's something.
My grandma swears that my grandfather still comes and visits some nights and touches her, like on her shoulder or something when she's sleeping. I don't know. I have a hard time believing it, but maybe it's what people, they want to believe because it makes them feel good, but maybe it is happening because it's so fresh. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like, you can't disprove it.
Right.
You can't prove it or disprove it.
Right.
But again, as long as it makes her feel comfortable.
Right.
Who cares?
Oh, no, it scares the hell out of her.
Oh, does it?
There's no comfort. It's scary to her.
Should be comforting.
But she's a very religious woman, so... We'll go with comforting, yes.
I told you not to touch me in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
had
honey.
enough 55 years of that.
No, honey, not tonight. I have a headache.
Oh, we're going to the big dog now.
Yeah, demons.
Big dog demons.
Demons.
Demons are a completely different subject, though. They're not ghosts.
No, they're not ghosts. We're talking about hauntings.
Right.
So.
Fair. You go ahead and start with that one, because that gets into religion. Demons get into religion, so that's kind of hard depending on what you think.
I mean, are there demons out there? Yes. Are they rare? Yes. Are they probably less than 1% of hauntings? Yes.
I'd agree.
And people are like, it might be demonic. No. You will know if it's demonic. If there's a demon, you're going to know it's a demon.
Right.
I mean, that's my philosophy on it. So it's more powerful than a human ghost. Can't take any form like a child, object, or animal.
Shapeshifter.
Yeah. They want to make you feel comfortable. That's what they say. They'll take, everybody loves kids. They're so pretty. This little 5-year-old girl can't hurt me. They'll bite your head off. Stuff like that.
That's kind of like what the last one we did, last podcast. We talked about Sarah's room, right? And disclosure, don't believe Sarah's room, Sarah's a demon. But one of the thoughts is, and we've mentioned it, is that it's a little girl, but then some people think, and this just maybe if there is something there, what I thought, where maybe it's potentially a demon acting as a little girl because they kind of puppet a figure. I don't think so, but that's what a lot of the time they do, hide behind the face.
Yeah, something that looks innocent, get you to let your guard down.
Right. And they do a lot of that with people that die. Like, respectfully, if one of your kids died, it would be trying to get a hold of you and it couldn't because you were too tough or your faith was too strong.
Yeah.
Pull that weakness and get inside.
Yeah. It's just to put your guard down so they can pretty much control you, whatever they want to do. Whatever demons do. I don't know what they do. There's a demon in here. Hit the REM pod.
It's right up there.
It's right up there, right behind Mark.
That's not merch.
It's not merch.
It'd be very expensive merch.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. Well, it's the big one.
That's the big one.
And I feel like we talked the least about it.
What? I mean, there's so many demons out there.
Demons. So, demon is a fallen angel, right? If you go by the biblical sense, it was one of the angels that came down with Lucifer when he was banished from God, from heaven. So, multiple different thoughts on demons.
Yeah.
What's your thought? I mean, I don't know if you're religious or not, but...
I am. I mean, a lot of religious people, and we'll get to this in a different podcast because it's
a long podcast.
Right.
A lot of people believe there's only demons and angels. And some people only believe that demons are the only thing on this earth. And God does not interdict with what demons are doing. He lets demons do what they do. It's your faith in God that protects you. It's not God himself. It's your faith and your belief in God that will protect you. And that's it for different types of ghosts. I'm sure there's more out there. There's a couple that were just far-fetched.
Like rock trapment.
Fucking rock.
It's a sensitive subject, Ryan.
It is sensitive. All right, let's wrap this up because all this shit's going to be cut out anyways. Well, thank you for listening, Trap Souls. I appreciate it. Follow us on Facebook, Trap Souls, or Nuclear Soul Seekers. You can check us out on TikTok, nuclear.soul.seekers. We'll have some good videos on there, some good shorts coming up. There's a few on there right now. Check it out. You can always get a hold of me at trapsouls0@gmail.com. What else we got? Oh, follow me on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. We'll get a lot of videos out there. Got any questions? Want us to do something? You want Sarah to do a solo? Let me know. We'll make her do a solo. Again, thank you. Out.